We back. I should have done that at the beginning of the stream. I saw it immediately. I asked you guys if everything was okay. Everything's fucking beautiful now. Should have done it at the beginning of the stream. I'm sorry. Give everyone just a second to get back, and I'll rewind Bernie. We'll start from the beginning. I'll intro him and everything. Everybody should be good now. Trump's plan to level Gaza and pave paradise and put up a parking lot for a casino. Trump Hotel and Resort on the Gaza Strip. They're not going to call it Gaza. What do the Israelis call Gaza? Is it Judea? No, that's the other side. Is it Samaria? Or whatever the fuck? They call it by its Jewish name. Might as well get hot. Ow! Ow! Fuck! Ow! Cat got me good in the leg. And my keyboard fell. Hold on. Sorry. What's the name of Gaza then? I don't know geography, period. I certainly don't know Israeli geography. Yeah, the Rose Garden, totally not a good comparison to Israel, but I'm not sure that's what Dip was going for. Bernie was speaking today as they proposed a bill to hold up sales of heavy bombs to Israel.
Development that could make the situation even worse. Hard to believe, it really is, but it could. In recent months, President Trump and Israeli officials have openly talked about forcibly expelling the 2.2 million people who live in Gaza, pushing them out to make way for what Trump calls a Riviera.
Flash, I'm amazed you didn't filibuster this.
Playground. Now, I think some people may be watching this think this can't be true. You must be kidding. You must be lying. This is inconceivable.
Apparently, he didn't wear a diaper. He dehydrated himself. So he didn't have any fluids in him? Or like, that's what he says he did. Do you think he really wore a diaper?
Conceivable. Pushing 2.2 desperate people out of where they live.
Oh yeah, Booger is a acolyte of Rabbi Shmuley.
A few years ago, as some may recall, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, said that he felt, quote, Jared Kushner, quote, Gaza's waterfront property could be very valuable, end quote. Floating the idea...
Dollar Store Obama is Hakeem Jeffries.
I think that many people at the time thought that was a weird and terrible joke. But it turns out that his father-in-law, Donald Trump, took it seriously. Here is what Trump has said repeatedly in recent months, quote, the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and we will do a job with it, end quote. Quote, we're going to take over that piece. We're going to develop it, quote, end quote. Quote, I do see a long-term ownership position. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United
Everybody
States
rip a bong.
That piece of land, end quote. Guess he didn't speak to too many Palestinians who live on that land. On Truth Social, Trump wrote, quote, the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting, end quote. What about the Palestinians who have lived in Gaza for their entire lives? Trump said, quote, "I don't think people should be going back to Gaza. They live like they're living in hell. Gaza is not a place for people to be living," end quote. Gaza could become, quote, again, Donald Trump, the Riviera of the Middle East. This could be something that could be so valuable. This could be so magnificent, end of quote. Yeah. Throw 2.2 million people who have suffered incalculably, throw them out of the land in which they live in order to create a billionaire's playground. Mr. President, there is a name and a term for forcibly expelling people from where they live.
Ethnic cleansing.
It is called ethnic cleansing. It is
illegal.
It is a war crime.
Battle opossum. Now, you can imagine how Bernie's bill to stop arms sales to Israel went. And it wasn't all arms sales. It was just these heavy fucking bombs. Senate defeats Bernie's bid to block Israeli weapons sales. Oh, shit. How? Well, fuck you, Punch Bowl. I didn't need you anyway. We heard from the man. And now, why might they want to block arms sales to Israel? Yeah, the vote failed 15 to 83. Here are the 15 Democratic senators that deserve your praise. Cory Booker, not one of them. Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Chris Murphy of Connecticut, Mazie Hirono from Hawaii. I don't even know Schatz from Hawaii. Dick Durbin. I give Dick Durbin a lot of shit. Well deserved. But thank you, Dick Durbin. Markey, Warren, Van Hollen, Smith, Kim, Heinrich, Lujan, Merkley, Welch, and Kane. You don't need a gun, Bound. What do you need a gun for? Just owning a gun makes it more likely that you shoot yourself, a loved one, or have the gun used against you than you are to prevent a crime. Elizabeth Warren's kind of surprising to me. Thank you, Liz. But you never know when she might turn into a snake in the grass. Buddy, that's wild. You got a problem. If you have 1,000 of anything other than rice, you've probably got a problem with it. Survivor challenges Israeli account of attack on Gaza paramedics. What I'm getting ready to read you is horrific. You do not know what Israel is now accused of. Holy shit. I'm the only survivor who saw what happened to my colleagues. Mother Abed says, scrolling through pictures of his fellow paramedics on his phone, he survived the Israeli attack that killed 15 emergency workers in Gaza by driving to the floor in the back of his ambulance as his two colleagues in the front were shot in the early hours of March 23rd. We left the headquarters roughly at dawn, he told one of the BBC's trusted freelance journalists working in Gaza, explaining how the response team from the Palestinian Red Crescent, Gaza's civilian defense agency, and the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees gathered on the edge of the southern city of Rafah after receiving reports of gunfire and wounded people. Roughly by 4:30, all civilian defense vehicles were in place. At 4:40, the first two vehicles went out. At 4:50, the last vehicle arrived. At around 5, the agency UN car was shot at directly in the street. The Israeli military says its forces opened fire because the vehicles were moving suspiciously towards soldiers without prior coordination and with their lights off. It also claimed that 9 Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad operatives were killed in the incident. Doubt. Munther challenges that account, During day and at night, it's the same thing. External and internal lights are on. Everything tells you it's an ambulance vehicle that belongs to the Palestinian Red Crescent. All lights were on until the vehicle came under direct fire. After that, he adds, he was pulled from the wreckage by Israeli soldiers, arrested and blindfolded. He claimed he was interrogated over 15 hours before being released. The BBC has put its claims to the Israeli Defense Forces, but it is yet to respond. The IDF did not randomly attack an ambulance, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar claimed, when questioned at a news conference echoing the IDF's statements. Several uncoordinated vehicles were identified advancing suspiciously toward IDF troops without headlights or emergency signals. IDF troops then opened fire at the suspected vehicles. Following an initial assessment, it was determined that the forces had eliminated a Hamas military terrorist, Mahmoud Amin Abraham Shabaki, who took part in the October 7th massacre along with 8 other terrorists from Hamas and the Islamic Jihad. Apparently that's from the Red Crescent guy. Shabaki's name is not on the list of the 15 dead emergency workers, 8 of whom were Palestinian Red Crescent medics. 6 were civilian defense first. Oh, that wasn't a quote. That was a quote from the IDF. I'm sorry. I misidentified that. Shabaki's name is not on the list of the 15 dead emergency workers, 8 of whom were Palestinian Red Crescent medics, 6 were civil defense first responders, and 1 was an UNRWA staff member. Israel has not accounted for the whereabouts of Shabaki's body or offered any evidence of the direct threat the emergency workers posed. Thur rejects Israel's claim that Hamas may have used the ambulances as cover. That's utterly untrue. All the crews are civilian. We don't belong to any militant group. Our main duty is to offer ambulance services and save people's lives. No more, no less. Apparently that's one of the medics that was killed in cold blood. Gaza's paramedics carried their own colleagues to their funerals earlier this week. There was an outcry of grief along with calls for accountability. One bereaved father told the BBC that his son was killed in cold blood. International agencies could only access the area to retrieve their bodies a week after the attack. They were found buried in sand alongside the wrecked ambulances, fire truck, and UN vehicle. Sam Rose, acting director of UNRWA's Gaza office, says, "What we know is that 15 people lost their lives. They were buried in shallow graves in a sand berm in the middle of the road, treated with complete indignity and what would appear to be an infringement of international humanitarian law." What they did was they used bulldozers to bury them. The IDF did. But if it's only if we have an investigation, a full and complete investigation, that we'll be able to get to the bottom of it. Israel is yet to commit to an investigation. According to the UN, at least 1,060 healthcare workers. 1,060 healthcare workers have been killed since the start of the conflict. And I have absolutely heard reports that is an undercount. One paramedic is still unaccounted for following the March 23rd incident. They were not just colleagues, but friends, Thur said, nervously running prayer beads through his fingers. We used to eat, drink, laugh, and have jokes together. I consider them my second family. I will expose the crimes committed by the occupation Israel against my colleagues. If I was not the only survivor, who could have told the world what they did to our colleagues, and who would have told their story? This is a yearly thing. Every time this year, we get video of illegal settlers coming over to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and desecrating it. And I don't give a shit about religious symbology. But like they're just trying to provoke. They're trying to provoke the Palestinians. They're trying to intimidate them and get them to leave. It's disgusting. That wasn't just it was Cud's News. To be fair, the video didn't look like much desecration, but that was the caption from the Cud's News Network. They could just be seeing the Jewish people being on that site, laying down whatever blankets they are as desecration. I think all religious people are kind of weird, to be honest with you. So I don't know what exactly is desecration. The U.S. has now banned sex between personnel and anyone who's Chinese. The U.S. government is enacting a sweeping ban on romantic or sexual relationships between American government personnel and Chinese citizens in China. I thought it was anyone Chinese, but apparently it's Chinese citizens. Just still insane. 4 individuals with direct knowledge of the new rules confirmed to the AP that the policy took effect in January. Shortly before U.S. Ambassador Nicholas Burns left his post in Beijing, it applies to all American diplomatic staff, family members, and contractors with security clearances stationed at U.S. facilities in mainland China and Hong Kong. What is the point of going anywhere if you can't pick up locals? The directive expands on a more limited policy put in place last summer that barred relationships between U.S. personnel and Chinese support staff, such as guards. The broadened rule prohibits intimate relationships with any Chinese national while in China. Newsweek has contacted the U.S. Embassy in Beijing for comment. The State Department said it does not comment on internal matters. Burns, who apparently was the ambassador they cited earlier, now the vice chair at the consultancy, the Cohen Group, did not respond to the AP's request for comment. I've been told. Lenny, good evening. Who else snuck in here on me? Ponder Monkey, I told you good evening. Alien, welcome in. Avalon, I think I told you good evening, but you get a second one. Carla, darling. Hope you are well. Holiday. If Clinically is over on YouTube, I am sorry that, it wasn't you. I didn't just cut off the stream to YouTube because you popped up. I cut off the stream to YouTube because I didn't realize I was on YouTube. I was like, oh shit, I gotta cut this off. Prometheus, welcome. I hope you've washed your ass, friend.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Prometheus gets a titty slap. We got smoke now that Prometheus is here.
Come on now.
Okay, that is the clip comes from Toni Storm in AEW. Let me tell you what she did last night. Her opponent tried to French kiss her during a match, and she bit her tongue. And they did a whole fucking thing where her opponent had her tongue. She's a wild one. She's out here giving people titty slaps, biting people that are trying to French kiss her. Give them titties, Now, I've been told by the chat that I always have to hit a content warning anytime I show this man's face on stream.
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse. Senator Cruz.
It's long been said that hypocrisy is the tribute that vice pays to virtue. I have to admit I'm enjoying listening to my Democrat colleagues suddenly discover the virtues of the rule of law after 4 years where they brazenly supported the most lawless Department of Justice and the most politically weaponized Department of Justice our nation has ever seen. We just heard the senator from Rhode Island talk about the imperative of protecting judges. And yet not a single Democrat senator cared about the violent protesters that showed up outside Supreme Court.
Listen, what is it they say in law? I'm probably going to fuck up the saying, but when the facts are on your side, you pound the facts. When the law is on your side, you pound the law. When nothing's on your side, you pound the table. That's what Ted Cruz just did.
Supreme Court justices' homes, including, I might note, female justices like Justice Amy Coney Barrett, threatening their family, and Joe Biden's attorney general didn't do a damn thing and refused to enforce the law to protect those judges. Why? Because he agreed with the violent protesters and he wanted to intimidate and threaten those judges. Professor Bray.
I mean, maybe postmodern. I might.
Who should decide elections, the voters or unelected judges?
The voters are the ones who should vote in the election. According
Prometheus is hot ass. That's who should
sometimes
decide.
have to be applied by the judges if there are cases.
And under our Constitution, who is charged with making policy decisions? Elected representatives, elected by the people, or
depends on the locality and the level. Like some judges are appointed, like U.S. judges are appointed by the president. Others, usually on the local level, are elected, but some are still appointed. It varies.
Elected federal judges?
I think the question of policy, Senator, is a little broader than the particular case. So the laws should be enacted by Congress. That's where the fountain of law.
Policy decisions of the elected branches.
Right.
Law is the province.
I one up, tip one back.
Policy is the province of the elected branches. These are not complicated. Professor Bray, let me ask you this. Do the federal courts have power to issue remedies for people who are not parties to a case?
That's a question I agree is not complicated. They do not have that power.
Is the phrase nationwide injunction or universal injunction found anywhere in the Constitution?
It is not.
What?
First chart. In the first 150
These are all called loaded questions, by the way.
years of our republic, how many nationwide injunctions were issued?
My view is that there were not any until 1963.
0. Now fast forward. How many
I would totally vote for you, Flash.
issued in the entire 20th century?
It's a small
Vote for
number.
Flash
I
and his
I
dildo.
think it would be a dozen, give or take. It's not large.
27, actually. Excluding Trump's first term. How many nationwide injunctions were issued in the...
Have you tried not breaking the law? Where's this little chart at? I want to see it again. There it is. There's the injunctions issued against Trump, injunctions issued against other presidents. Josephus, please don't try to send me links during the show. I could be doing a bit. I could be doing a video I want to cut up for YouTube. Like, no offense, but like, that's not what we're doing right now. Yes, go to the Discord. Now I'm on sidetrack. Now I'm not gonna be able to cut it up for YouTube. But don't leave. Don't be a sissy and get your feelings hurt. God damn it. I am expressing my feelings and letting you know my boundaries. Yeah, that's usually what people say when they leave. I don't want you to leave. Don't feel bad. Am I gonna have to go on the rant again? I get so many people that send me videos. Like all fucking day. My friends send me videos all goddamn day. And like I don't understand like people like might be flipping through their phone like it's I understand that like oh this made you think of me. But usually like I was doing something that was far more important. I'm not just sitting on my phone flipping through like most people are all day or something. I have no idea, Avalon, because if you sent me something, I didn't fucking watch it. Because it's all goddamn day. And now that I'm a streamer, it's people that I don't even know are sending me videos. I can't trust my own fucking friends to send me videos that I give a shit about. Please don't send me shit. Yes, but Flash, while I'm getting in arguments with anti-racist Bob, I'm probably doing something in my video software and listening to a podcast, watching blah, 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 listening to music, jamming out. I'm not just sitting on Twitter arguing with people all day. Like usually I have to wait on my computer to do something. I go to Twitter and there are adult content threads in the Discord. Yeah, Ponder Monkey, whatever you sent me over here, it better be good. I'm playing it. Let's find out. Oh, it's my own clip? Ow, fuck. Ow. Cat got me good in the leg. Yeah, we all watched that. Why did I need to see that then? I have attention problems. That's one of the reasons why I don't like people to send me stuff. I'm sorry. And it offends people. Why does it offend people? Why does it offend people to tell you like, I don't want to see your fucking 15-second TikTok that like it was what also that's the thing, like TikToks don't play on my computer. Like TikTok is a horrible app. I'm sitting here behind fucking 5 screens. People sending me these goddamn TikToks. The app like auto plays at full volume. I got no way to control the volume. And it's usually something stupid. I'm so... Oh, I would love to see your cat videos. Now that's different. You send me animal shit. Like, that's cool. Do that all day. You can never go. My problem is not people sending me shit. It's that I need to be able to trust that you will send me quality shit. And, like, you got to earn that trust. And my best friend doesn't have that trust. I'm sorry. It's hot. That's probably why I'm going on this rant. My apologies. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, here, like, it's not that I appreciate my best friend. Like, he loves B movies and he loves like shit that sucks. Like, genuinely, and like he doesn't like slop TV shows and movies. Loves that shit. Like, you show him any superhero movie, he absolutely fucking loved it. And so I can't trust his recommendations on things. You see what I mean? Like, I don't, like, he doesn't. he doesn't have like a filter about things. So like, yeah, I can't trust his recommendations. He's like, when it comes to a horror movie, he's never seen one that he thought was bad. And there are fucking bad horror movies. So yeah, you see, no one in the fucking world has ever recommended Rebel Ridge to me. All right, Flash, we're gonna watch the fucking trailer. Let's go. Let's find out what this shit's all. Because I watched the trailer for goddamn White Lotus, and I'm like, nope, If it was a horror movie, I'd probably like it. All right, here we go. Flash has been telling me to watch this fucking show. Killer Clowns from Outer. Okay, here's the main thing that turns me off from it. I want you to. I want a good wide shot here, good scenic shot.
Sit down. You stay low.
Notice the color.
All right.
You can fight for the money.
Notice there's no depth of field to it. It's got the Netflix look. I hate the Netflix look. I'm dead serious. Like there's no color grading to it. It's so flat. The acting looked all right. I like Don Johnson. That's a selling point. But the fact that it's on Netflix is like, Netflix hasn't made a good show in. They've got a formula. And if I had to guess, like this is one of those where like they keep restating the story over and over again. Because Netflix has guidelines. Exactly, clinically. Welcome in, my friend. I didn't leave because of you last night. I left because you popping up reminded me that I was on YouTube. And like, I had to leave. But they've got guidelines to where your content needs to be your second screen. That this is a movie to play in the background while somebody's on their phone. And it looks like that to me. It looks like it was almost derived from an AI, like you said, Rambo. Like this is every action movie trope dumbed down to the lowest common denominator. And this is film nerd me. I understand. Once again, like my buddy loves slop and he hates this kind of shit about me that I'll criticize it like this. But this is me Rambro. Oh my god, that's hilarious. And I'm just like, I feel like I've seen it before. That's my main problems. That I know it's like a Netflix production, so it's probably smacking you in the face with the plot over and over again, so that if you're on your phone and miss something, you know exactly what's going on. I don't love slop for slop's sake. That's for fucking sure. Some good. Okay, that looked like good slop. That looked like slop well done. Can we all agree on that? And I don't do brain rot TV. If I'm going to watch something, I'm engaged with it because I could be doing a million other things that I like better, including talking to myself. I love to have like music on and I have fantastic conversation. I'm the best fucking person to talk to. It did look like it had good fight choreography. I can give it that. I can give it its props. And like I said, Don Johnson I would watch an episode with an open mind after watching the trailer. But I'm telling you what I think it has going against it. And I'm probably right. I like a good. There are good action movies, but I guess when I say good action movie, I'm probably going to give you something that you would consider like a psychological thriller, like Enemy of the State. That was like an action psychological thriller. That's a damn good fucking movie. Matrix is a good action movie. Let me try to think of something from Enemy of the State was fucking awesome. That's Gene Hackman, isn't it? I wanted to watch that in honor of Gene Hackman. Let's get through this news. And we'll chill out on the other side.
Welcome.
You need to know that a judge today, what is it, Boasberg? I think that's the name of the judge. Could hold Trump officials in contempt.
Welcome back to America Decides. A federal judge is considering what consequences, if any, the Trump administration will face after arguments today over whether these officials defied a court order issued last month. You might remember the judge ruled that any planes carrying migrants deported under the authority of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act must be returned to the United States, not for release, but just for their processing under due process rights. In spite of this, the Trump administration opted not to turn the flights around, and they were carrying hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. Scott McFarland was in the courtroom, joins me now. What happened?
Yeah, Judge.
I really don't feel like doing goddamn news anymore. Here, let me tell you that the Pentagon launched a probe into officials' use of Signal. There's nothing more to that behind the headline. We don't need to watch that. Hold on. I'm not going to let you go uninformed. And we're going to watch whatever cool videos I have still left. The doctor that saved Trump's life when he had the COVID, yep, he got fired. Let's do this. Laura Loomer, apparently. Elon has been replaced with Laura Loomer, now making hiring decisions inside the White House. Because what the fuck?
The fact that Donald Trump appears to be getting advice on matters of national security from a far-right, pro-white nationalism, 9/11 truther is not even the most disturbing part of the story.
Objectively.
It's that Trump might actually...
I love you guys.
First, the backstory. NBC News today confirmed...
I'm really hot. It's really hot in here. The heat is like, I was going to put my air conditioner in the window last night, and I don't have a thing to plug the window on the other side. So I can't put my air conditioner in the window.
Confirmed with two sources, much of what the New York Times first reported, that prior to yesterday's tariff palooza in the Rose Garden, Laura Loomer met with Donald Trump in the Oval Office. The topic of the conversation,
do you think he's fucking her?
The National Security Council. Mike Walls, the National Security Advisor and Signal chat enthusiast, was in the meeting.
Milo said that she gave him head
against what Laura Loomer was saying, that some members of the NSC were, quote, disloyal. Remember, Trump got rid of a career federal prosecutor last week, about an hour after Laura Loomer posted about him online. Well, this afternoon, NBC News is confirming that at least 3 national security aides were fired.
She used to be kind of cute.
While other news outlets report that the number could end up being higher. Notable that this latest purge is happening a week and a half after Signalgate, a scandal for which no one has been fired that we know of, but one for which we learned this afternoon will be the subject of a DOD Inspector General's investigation.
Yes. I'm surprised they still have an Inspector General at the Pentagon.
Everyone is back. You know, if you're...
Yeah, we don't need their fucking panel. Though this dude's laughing. He kind of... He kind of makes me intrigued to see what he has to say, because I feel like he's gonna shit on the panel and the story, but like I'm not interested enough to keep going. Wow, yes, the fucking difference. That's like 10 years. It's about how long she's been around, right? Like the end of the Obama administration. Like the start of like the YouTube push and like right around adpocalypse time and shit like that. Is it just Botox, or I have no idea? Cheek implants. She is a lovely lady right there. Like, what is wrong with her? Why would she do that? She is batshit crazy. We watched some wild ass footage last night. Did seem to be a nose. Caroline Levitt has had a nose job, hasn't she? Like, it is very obvious. Here's shit from the
damage left behind in eastern
tornado
Arkansas by last night's tornado outbreak. In the town of Elmira, the storms destroyed homes, caused widespread power outages. The Arkansas State Emergency Management Office reported damage in 22 different counties from last night's severe weather outbreak. One of the hardest hit communities was Lake City in northeast Arkansas. That's about 20 minutes east of Jonesboro. Reporter Carter Thweet spent time there today and shows us the damage and why the community feels blessed despite everything that happened.
Crews here in Lake City, Arkansas, still tending to storm damage that took place on Wednesday night. People here at Riverside.
And look at the sky!
While the damage is devastating, the main thing to keep in mind is that no lives were lost.
I was scared because it was so close.
Kenneth Winford took shelter with his family as a likely tornado.
They're calling like a 3-day weather event, and apparently it's really slow moving. I thought it was supposed to get to me tomorrow. They've pushed it back. It's now like Sunday night. It's supposed to get to me. I can drive over to Arkansas in a half a day.
Came a half mile from his house on the outskirts of Lake City.
It turned due east and came through here, and wiped out the part of the town.
They need to white balance their camera for sure, Ponder Monkey.
They saw extensive damage to 15 structures in Lake City, many of those people's homes, not to mention all the downed trees and power lines, as well as a few buildings in nearby cities like Monette.
We have some total losses without a doubt. It's devastating for those people.
But Boyd says despite it all, it could have been worse. For one thing, the damage was only confined to the west part of Lake City, away
Ryan Hall, y'all probably makes
a rescue efforts that
good penny on these storms.
The storm ensured that no lives were lost.
We did have some entrapment, after the tornado did hit residences. We were able to rescue everyone, probably within the hour. I think everyone was rescued, and fortunately no fatalities. We had about 6 injuries, but they were all considered minor.
There were several fatalities in the storm.
So now the cleanup process begins. Crews manned Highway 18 Thursday cleaning up debris. And for those who lost property, it may be a while before things get back to normal, but it won't be for a lack of help from their neighbors.
We were real close
to
working together and sharing, helping each other.
We've actually had to turn some services away that we don't need right now. So it's a good place to be where you're having to turn.
Several people were killed in Mississippi.
In Lake City, Carter Thweet, 5 News.
Carter Thweet. How'd I get on the other browser? Potentially historic flooding threat. Rainfall near Memphis, Tennessee is expected to exceed 12 inches over the next 3 days. This is Jeffersontown, Kentucky, a building that was damaged. Prolific tornado outbreak will give way to a rare and widespread flooding threat across the Midwest and southern U.S. this week, stressing the nation's short-staffed weather forecasting and disaster response efforts. At least 7 people have been reported have reportedly died, and so far nearly 100 tornadoes struck on Wednesday. Combined 284 tornado warnings. Yeah. That's what it was labeled the other night. A once-in-a-generation storm system. 100 tornadoes. 284 combined tornado warnings. It was exceeded by an entire month of April. That's the only time. God. The cold front that helped spark Wednesday's tornadoes will slow down over the next few days, causing lines of thunderstorms to stall near the confluence of the Ohio-Mississippi rivers, creating a life-threatening, catastrophic, and potentially historic flash flood event. Let's do a little criminal news before we get out of here. However, these criminal stories, they still intersect with politics. It's becoming harder and harder to delineate where the crime section of the show starts, where the politics completely ends.
Prosecutors moved to drop charges against a man that South Carolina's 1st Congressional District Representative Nancy Mace accused of assaulting her during an event at the U.S. Capitol just last year. Representative Mace accused James McIntyre, a national foster care advocate.
To be perfectly clear, Nancy Mace can be my GOP mommy.
Of confronting her during a December 10th reception celebrating the 25th anniversary of the passage of the Foster Care Independence Act of 1999. Mace claimed the assault came in response to her efforts to bar transgender women from using women's restrooms on federal property. But McIntyre pled not guilty to those charges. We're told those charges are no longer being pursued. According to a Washington, D.C. Superior Court filing Tuesday, government attorneys did not provide a reason for the dismissal in their, quote, not to wish to prosecute filing. Mace denounced that decision.
Probably no evidence.
News 2 saying it sends an appalling message. Her statement reads in part, quote, when a man can physically assault a woman in the halls of Congress with impunity, it sends an appalling message to every woman in America. If it can happen here, it can happen anywhere.
Flash, that was a fucking skit on SNL a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever the one with Shane Gillis was. What's her name? I really like her. White girl. She kept taking pictures in front of the orange tree. Literally a sketch. It just happened. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Chief of Staff, Steve of Chaff, pleads not guilty to drunken driving charges. Speaker Mike Johnson has a chief of staff, and he's pleaded not guilty to DUI charges. He was acquitted the same night President Trump delivered his joint address to Congress. Wow. Casey, good evening. Hayden Haynes, 35, appeared before D.C. Superior Court Judge Heidi Herman via video call. The Washington Post reported Haynes was arrested by Capitol Police on allegations that he drove while under the influence in early March. Authorities say he backed into a parked vehicle around 11:40 p.m. on March 4th. The responding officer said the staffer was unsteady when he exited his car. Haynes told the police he had 4 drinks within a 4-hour period. The judge gave Haynes, which means he had 8, the ability to remain on release while his charges were pending, but the staffer was required to submit to a drug test and alcohol assessment. Next court date is May 16th. It certainly would cut down on DUIs. Speaking of crime in D.C., this happened earlier today. 6 people were injured in a apparent senseless stabbing in Washington, D.C. We're going to go to the police press conference here, or at least a clip of it.
At approximately 3:22 p.m. this afternoon, 5th District officers responded to the reports of a stabbing. Officers arrived on scene in less than a minute and located numerous people suffering from stab wounds in the area of Montello Avenue and Meigs Place Northeast. Officers immediately provided first aid and requested DC Fire and EMS to respond to the scene. 4 women and 2 men were transported to area hospitals as a result of a senseless assault. They are all listed in stable condition at this time. The 5th District's crime suppression team was in the area and located the suspect laying in the ground in the 1700 block of Montello Avenue Northeast. Officers used good tactics to safely take him into custody without incident. The knife pictured here was recovered a few feet away from the suspect and is believed to be the weapon used in the assault. Based on preliminary information, it appears the suspect was in an altered mental state from an unknown substance. While walking down the street, the individual began stabbing himself and then stabbed a female acquaintance.
Bath salts are making a comeback.
The suspect then stabbed others standing outside in the block. 2 Good Samaritans, and we are very grateful for them this afternoon, tried to intervene in the suspect's assault and were among those who was injured. I will say this, even though we're grateful for their intervention, we would ask that individuals who see incidents such as this to not intervene, because these 2 individuals, although Good Samaritans, were also stabbed as part of this assault. I want to offer my thoughts to the victims, their families, and those who witnessed today's events. This incident highlights the need for assistance of substance abuse issues within our communities.
Well, those substance abuse issues are probably caused by homelessness and shit that's easy to fix. Just get people housing. What's with the stabbing? People are getting stabby out here. The weather's changing. People getting warmer. People getting stabby. I shouldn't make light of this. Apparently, a young man was stabbed at a Texas track meet.
And we begin right away with breaking news. Just minutes ago, WFAA obtained the arrest warrant affidavit
in that on bath salts too?
At a track meet in Frisco ISD.
Yeah, it reveals where the suspect got the knife and that he told police he killed Austin Metcalf in self-defense. Tiffany Liu has been covering this story since Wednesday morning and joins us in the newsroom with what she's learned.
Yeah, well, Chris and Izzy, I've been working on this since this morning, trying to get this arrest affidavit. Finally, we obtained it from Frisco police. It says 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony identified himself as the suspect when police arrived at Frisco ISD's Kirkendall Stadium on Wednesday morning. Now, the court documents say Anthony told police with his hands up in the air, quote, "I was protecting myself." Now, walking him off the track, Anthony told police he put his hands on me and I told him not to. Anthony also asked if the victim, Austin Metcalf, would be okay. Frisco police say officers located a knife in the bleachers and that there were many, many witnesses. We just got our hands on this arrest affidavit. We're going to have much more on these new developments.
Oh. Now, you guys have not seen pictures, but the victim is white and the suspect is black. Not to bring race into this, but I'm just pointing it out because if that statement is true, it's going to be far more difficult for him to get a fair trial.
Developments tonight at 10
Cicero.
And of course on WFA.com. But right now, you guys, more tributes are pouring in for 17-year-old Austin.
Yep, I'm sure, Flash.
And the pizzeria where he worked alongside his family is honoring his memory and stepping in.
Has it made it up to Fox News and everything yet? I didn't see any Fox News clips of it. Because this just happened, what, yesterday morning, something like that?
Help.
At Halo Pizzeria in Frisco, it's all about family.
They're just not employees to us. They're very much family.
And when their own are hurting, they grieve together.
Honestly, I've never had to deal with something.
Oh, had the roles been reversed and it had been a black victim with a white suspect, they would absolutely be like, oh, he was defending himself.
Like this, so close to home.
Carrie Ordaz, the restaurant owner, is in disbelief.
He's a missed child.
On Wednesday morning, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, a student athlete at Memorial High School, was stabbed and killed at a UIL track meet.
You'd give anything to reverse time.
I'd stab him over that hair.
Austin was part of the Halo Pizzeria family. Outside of school, track, and football.
I'm sorry, I
he worked here
shouldn't
part-time
say
with his
that.
mom, Megan, and identical twin, Hunter.
I'm gonna miss the light that, the two brought out in each other.
There are so many unanswered questions about why this happened.
It's just so unnecessary. It's the only word that I can think of.
Frisco police say it was an altercation between two students. Meanwhile, Frisco Independent School District increased police presence and are providing counselors for students. The track meet is rescheduled to Monday, and they say they'll share security precautions with families soon. At this time, both the police and the district declined interviews with us today.
Nothing's going to change the fact that this mother has lost her child.
For Carrie, her focus is the Metcalf family.
We absolutely love this family. They have been with us. Literally, all three of them came to interview before we even opened our restaurant.
Austin, Hunter, and Mama Megan supported Carrie's dreams from the start.
She's one of my most favorite people.
To give back to a family she cares for so much, Carrie created a GoFundMe to support Megan and Hunter through funeral and legal expenses, and she plans to do a fundraiser at Halo soon, too.
Calling out to your
The two kids didn't know each other, apparently.
Realizing that they're not there.
She knows their pain is inconsolable, but hopes to carry the burden in other ways.
We just love them so much.
In Frisco, I'm Tiffany
I shouldn't say that about a victim.
That family is going to need all the support that community can muster. If you go on our website, we posted a link to their GoFundMe in Tiffany's story at WFAA.com.
That's probably not the last we're going to hear about that. What the fuck is wrong with me? What'd I do this time? There's a lot of things wrong with me, Cicero. There's a lot of things. That is a loaded question. In the colloquial sense, not in the logic sense. I think we got some wild video on this. This is a road rage incident in Riverside, California.
Terrifying case of road rage caught on a motorcyclist's helmet camera in Riverside.
Oh, God.
Knocked off of his bike and then dragged by an angry driver.
And he shared his video and spoke exclusively with Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan a short time ago.
Helmet cam video showing a violent collision in Riverside. A motorcycle rider struck and dragged on the street. It's tough to tell for how long. Fortunately, though, he survived. The whole thing an apparent case of road rage.
As a few seconds went on, it felt like forever. I started slipping, so I could see the undercarriage of the car. And I went from being mad to being scared.
The motorcycle rider didn't want us to give out his name, but says it all happened Tuesday afternoon near La Sierra and the 91 freeway in Riverside. He says it started when he was pulling to the front of an intersection and the driver of a black Nissan abruptly cut him off.
So I filtered to the front and yeah, I got mad. I'm shaking my head. And I look back and...
You got some road rash.
And he's hanging his head out the window and he's saying something.
What's your issue? What's that?
Why'd you shake your head?
Why did I shake my head?
Yeah.
Because you move over at the very last second when I was already moving up.
You're behind me. I go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the incident doesn't end there. The motorcyclist continuing onward, stopping ahead at another light. The motorcyclist saying the driver of the Nissan chasing him down. That's when this happens.
In the footage, I look back just in time to see the front end of his car squeezing between both of those cars. He rear ends me, knocks me off the bike, and then floors it over me. And he drugged me, and it felt like he was stepping on the gas, so I'm not sure how fast we were going. All I know is when he...
Look, you didn't go under the car.
He threw it in reverse, so I took that chance, got up, ran to the sidewalk, and he fled the scene.
Riverside police say 32-year-old Gary DeLandro eventually turned himself in, now facing attempted murder charges. Bail set at $1 million. As for the motorcyclist, he had moderate injuries, staples below his knee, burn injuries to his backside. His jacket and backpack shredded.
As far as motorcyclists go, I know there's a large community of people that dislike the fact that we split lanes.
That's the road rash.
There's a safety measure to it. There's a reason why. There's a reason why California permits it. There's a safe way to do it. There's a not smart way to do it. But at the end of the day, regardless what the situation is, it shouldn't be enough to warrant trying to kill somebody.
In Riverside, Rob McMillan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello.
Hey, Mark Brown. I appreciate you. I don't even know if I want to do this story. Content warning, there's probably going to be some major transphobia. I know there's going to be some major transphobia. I'm going to assume what we have here is another Riley Gaines. Another one of those smells an opportunity. And that's wild, because that's usually their argument against trans women or girls competing in sports. It's like they're looking for fame or something, and these women that are speaking out, or girls, I don't even know where this competition is, what level it is. They're usually just looking for their fame. This was a fencing competition. Have we got Soup? No. I want Soup to see this. You love it for the fencing. Hate it for the bullshit. Woman or girl. Okay, this is the college level. Just to play devil's advocate, what the fuck would being male even have to do with fencing? Why would that be an advantage? Sorry, DJ Dub, we're not even getting anything from the audio. I feel like that's just a cop-out. Girl, you're a cop-out. That's all it is. This happened in the last couple of days. And guess what? She's already been on Fox News. Posted yesterday. I don't know if it happened yesterday. May have been over the weekend. Oh, it's not about just, fucking off. Not about forfeiting and fucking off. Gotta go milk it.
A female fencer stands up for fairness in women's sports. She did it by taking a knee and refusing to compete against a biological male at a tournament over the weekend. The referee's response, a black card, the sport's most severe penalty, which means expulsion from the tournament. Let's bring in the athlete at the center of it all.
Well, yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So this was an Olympic qualifying event. My understanding of it is.
She's got no charisma. She is going to fail at her Raleigh Games turn.
It wasn't an Olympic qualifying event. I'm sorry. I had heard that this morning.
No, it wasn't.
It was an important event, though. And this is something that you've been preparing for an awfully long time. You decided that you were going to take yourself out of the tournament. What was the thinking in leading up to the decision where you took a knee?
Why would you?
Right. So this was actually a regional tournament held by the USFA at the University of Maryland. So part of my pre-competition ritual is to check the online registration to see who is going to be there and just double check my check-in times. And on the registration list, I saw Redmond Sullivan's name listed there. And I recognized this individual from a previous Redux article that had been written stating that this was a man who had previously competed on the men's team at Wagner and was now competing as a woman within the USFA. So from that point,
has met all the requirements.
With the USFA and with this.
What does gender have to do with fencing? Is there anything that would be a boon to even being male? That's like the woman that got upset about the darts. What the fuck would darts matter?
Tournament, and I just felt like at a loss. I'd already committed so much money to it and training hours, and I was literally looking forward to this. I do this tournament every year.
Yeah.
I don't think I believe her. I believe that she was probably approached by an organization. I bet she was approached by TPUSA or something like that.
Maybe like my 10th year in a row doing this tournament.
They alerted her to it.
I just got really sad and I started crying.
Critter.
This was like the last thing I wanted to deal with in my competition.
So at one point in the video, we see you take a knee, and then the official comes over. What did you say to the official at that point?
So the official came over to me and asked if I was still refusing to fence, and I said yes. Oh, and are you talking about initially?
Or were this girl's previous finishes?
Initially, I told them that I was refusing to fence because this.
I'm just hearing this for the first time, though. Like I haven't dug into the background.
And I refused to fence on principle.
And then later, right after this, we see your opponent comes over. What did you say to your opponent at that point?
My opponent was a little bit confused, thinking that I was maybe hurt. And
showed concern for you.
No, I am refusing to fence you because I'm a woman and you are a man. I have much love and respect for you, but
no, you don't.
I will not compete against you.
Wow.
And he responded, okay, well, there's a, yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm sorry, what was his response?
His response was, okay, but there's a member of the board of directors here, and he supports me, and there's a policy that says that I'm a woman and I'm allowed to compete in the women's tournament, and if you do this, you're going to get black carded. And I said, I know.
So here's what USA Fencing said in a statement.
So you're doing it for publicity.
USA Fencing enacted our current transgender and non-binary athlete policy in 2023. The policy was designed to expand access to the sport of fencing and create inclusive, safe spaces. It goes on to talk more, but this idea about inclusive, safe spaces, what about inclusive, safe spaces for female athletes?
How is she in danger?
Right. There's nothing for me and there's everything for him. Because I have no choice as a woman, as a female, in where I compete. I am a woman and I have an athletic disadvantage to men, so I compete in the women's division, which is what I rightfully am. But he has been given this opportunity to fence in the women's division, and he can compete. He can easily compete in the men's division. He can also compete at mixed events in local tournaments if he wants.
She is a girl.
So the idea that they're creating.
Like this is what's wild to me. The trans athlete was just minding her own business, existing, showed empathy towards you, and you're just using it to make a political statement. And I don't even think it's unfair. I don't like. even taking at face value that you somehow think being assigned male at birth gives her some sort of advantage, I don't see how that applies to fencing at all.
Making it an open tournament that can include men, and it ends up hurting me and other girls.
So you've got the support of Riley Gaines, who was on our network.
Of course you do.
And former tennis star Martina Navratilova, who put this out on X. She said, "This is what happens when female
stupid bitches
protest. Anyone here still think this is fair? I am fuming, and shame on USA Fencing. Shame on you for doing this. How dare you throw women under the gender BS bus?"
And honestly, a lot of these sports, like fencing, should probably be.
We don't see this in the flip side.
Desegregated.
This all comes at the expense of female athletes like yourself.
How?
Like the girls who lost that race by 7 seconds in Oregon, like the girls who lost the pole vault event in Maine. I mean, this is happening across the country,
right.
and to a large degree, women support this.
No.
Right, it's happening in every sport and at every level, and there's really no option to.
Okay, I didn't think about that.
There are.
We can get more practice with sword-like things
within the authoritative body of the USFA. So I have very little option other than.
Yes, Riley Gaines lost to 4 other cis women.
Other pathways, like back in 2023 Summer Nationals, I just didn't sign up to fence in the Div 1A women's foil because there was another transgender person that I'd recognized.
Jesus! You just see trans people everywhere, don't you?
I've avoided it as much as I can, but at what point do I have to just avoid all tournaments altogether because there's going to be somebody who's trans there?
It's a tough choice. As you point out, your opponent had 2 choices. Could compete as biological male or could compete in the women's. You have the choice of competing in the women's. So, Stephanie, thank you for telling your story. We really appreciate it.
By the way, that's when Fox News still had the ticker up. They actually removed it today. Did not talk about the economy at all today on their airwaves. You saw what the ticker usually looks like down in the bottom right-hand corner. There's Kayleigh McEnany. Literally talking about the tariffs creating a golden age. Took their ticker away. Wow! You're right! Holy shit! The typical black thug that stabbed a Christian white kid for minding his own business. Yet the story that we have was that he wasn't minding his own business. But we don't know. Insane. You know what else is insane? What Pat McAfee did to this young lady's life. And she don't fucking understand why. There was apparently this internet rumor that took a school campus by storm. Hold on here. Let me get the Pat McAfee clip queued up. This is from the Pat McAfee show on ESPN. They talking about the sporty ball, but they get a little off topic. Ole Miss, that was the college they're talking about.
Jackson Dart, Ole Miss guy, though, so you're going to have to check in on his father, make sure everything kind of...
Not high enough for this shit.
Just to make sure...
What do you mean?
You know, the right kind of culture type of guy.
Yeah, is Jackson Dart of Ole Miss's dad snooping around?
Yeah, which happens at Ole Miss. I mean, that's kind of a situation that can...
Have you heard about Ole Miss?
I've been there. The Grove.
Okay, so you know about that, yeah. So you have not heard about the last 12 hours.
No, it sounds like not.
There's a menage a trois that is
Really captivating.
Boy, oh boy.
I'll tell you what, there's some Greek life getting called into question.
Look out.
Learned a lot about the KDs, I think.
Parents' weekend's going to be lit.
Well, I think they're actually not doing it this week.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, from what I've been told, down there in Ole Miss. Have you heard anything about any of this?
No.
Oh, just wait. Because we said it, your algorithm's going to pick that up.
Gotcha.
And you'll hear it.
I'm going to get getting things about menage a
Yeah,
trois.
no, well, that's the problem. It's actually a triangle.
That's probably still in there.
It's a
triangle
and there's a lot
situation.
going on.
Yeah.
What?
A lot of moving parts, and one of them's a lot older than the other one.
Uh-huh.
The other two, actually.
Yeah.
One of them actually was.
Yeah, it's a right
birthed.
angle. Yeah, maybe
It's a
related.
situation.
It's an obtuse.
Can somebody translate? I don't speak dude, bro. What in the fuck have they said?
What did I miss here the last
Some
12 hours?
kid's
stuff,
dad.
man.
Some kid's dad.
Clear your afternoon,
allegedly.
Shefty.
There's a lot to it.
It's sad.
Some kids, it is not a good situation for all parties. Trust is going to be ruined forever by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's just forever. Like, some Ole Miss frat bro.
Yep. Sure.
Okay. Had a KD girlfriend. Allegedly.
This is the story we know.
Allegedly.
At this exact moment, this is what is being reported by everybody on the internet. Dad had sex with son's girlfriend.
Yeah. Not great. Not great.
And then it was made public.
Which
so
is
now that's the absolute worst case situation.
So where is Jackson Dart in all this?
We were just wondering. Yeah, we were just wondering. We're just wondering if he.
Oh, we didn't know if there was
his
something.
dad.
Just make sure his
dad's okay. We're trying to combine evaluate.
Yeah. Ole Miss dads are slinging meat right now.
So we got to get Jackson Dart's dad cleared
Yes.
before he can be elevated into
We
a
would like
first-round
to
pick.
hear from Mr. Dart.
That he's innocent.
Not in this case, just in general. We would like to maybe get. We have some questions. We have some questions on Ole Miss dads at the moment.
I'm still kind of confused, but I think some dad had a menage a trois with his son's girlfriend at Ole Miss. This is apparently just a rumor going around on campus that somehow made it to the Pat McAfee show, which, if you guys don't like sports, might not be aware is one of the biggest goddamn shows on the planet. They didn't mention her, but her name is Mary Kate Cornett, and she would like to discuss the events that have happened over the past few days. First of all, this rumor is 100% completely false, and it is quite frankly inexcusable that such disturbing accusations went viral. During this difficult time, my family and I have been overwhelmed with support from people all over the country. Thank you, it mattered. I especially appreciate the support from those who know me well enough to know how ridiculous this is. It is important to note that harassment and bullying of this manner is never okay. Cyber attacks based on nothing but lies and misinformation happen all too often. This experience has awakened me to the dangers of how we can all be manipulated to believe things we read on social media that are not true. My hope is that I am able to use the heartbreak and pain I have felt to help others that go through things like this in the future. It got so bad for this young lady, she had to give an interview to fucking NBC. Oh shit. It's wigging out on me.
Having the entire internet, half of the country hating you and calling you disgusting things, telling you to kill yourself, telling you that you're a horrible person, that you deserve to die.
And this is the same internet that celebrated Hawk Tua.
That's a really hard thing for a girl.
And she's a freshman.
In her first TV interview, Ole Miss freshman Mary Kate Cornett told me how she became famous on the internet and social media in the worst possible way. In February, an online rumor went viral, claiming an Ole Miss sorority sister slept with her boyfriend's father. Then, someone attached Cornett's name and photo to it. Do you know why the rumor started?
No clue. No clue. I had zero knowledge of this.
Did you even have a boyfriend?
Rumor was a top trending topic on Twitter.
Within 2.5 hours. Later that night, around 7 p.m., I was #1 trending in the United States. I felt so helpless and so alone because so many people were hating on me for something that I had no idea anything about. I mean, I'm a very normal person. Just like any teenage girl, I care about what people think about me. I mean, any teenage girl can relate to that.
Cornett's phone number was also shared online. She was overwhelmed with harassing texts and voicemails.
I was having thousands of calls come through, thousands of texts coming through.
And of course not, DJ Dub.
Calling me a slut, telling me I deserve to die.
When you look back at the last 5 weeks, is there one moment that sticks out for you?
With myself, it would probably be at 3 a.m. when I was throwing up while holding the phone with all of the texts on it. Just saying how horrible of a person I was and that I should end my life.
All because of an internet rumor.
All because of an internet rumor that has zero truth to it. Zero.
Cornett says she could barely leave her dorm room, had to switch to online classes. Someone even sent police to her mother's house in a fake 911 call.
Some Ole Miss frat bro.
Yep, sir.
Okay. Had a KD girlfriend.
Soon, the rumor was picked up by
KD is the
McAfee,
sorority.
though he didn't use her name.
This is what is being reported by everybody on the internet.
Reported.
Dad had sex with son's girlfriend.
Has anyone apologized to you?
No. No. They have not at all. I want these famous people to know that I was not famous before this. I'm not a public figure that you can go talk about on your show to get more views. I'm not. Sorry. Nobody knows who I am, or nobody did know who I was. But them pressing this and pushing it farther made my situation so much worse. Because the people who were talking about it are the people that I would want to take a picture with if I saw it in public. They're people that I watched. Pat McAfee, ESPN, that's on my living room TV every single night.
That's gotta hurt that he's talking a bit that way.
It does, because I used to look up to these people, and now these same people are making me feel worthless.
Yeah.
And that I'm just a joke.
ESPN and Pat McAfee declined NBC News' request for comment. Cornett says she hit rock bottom when she realized her name would forever be linked to the rumor spread online.
I don't think that these boys realize what they're doing to people. It's awful. It's awful. And having your life ruined by people who have no idea who you are is the worst feeling in the world. It makes you feel so alone.
Cornett now wants justice. Her lawyer says she's been defamed and is a victim of cyberbullying.
The rumor is false. People promoted it without looking into it. You can't lie for money.
Are there laws that protect Mary Kate? Because it seems like the internet, social media, it's the wild, wild west.
To some degree, the law hasn't caught up with the speed at which a lie travels online and the fact that it's now kind of anchored to her name forever. But defamation exists. There's growing protections against cyberbullying. There's growing protections against, making fake pictures, which has also happened to Mary Kate. The legal regime is catching up.
For now, she says she's leaning on her friends and family, including her father.
I just wonder why. Why my daughter? She wasn't looking for any of this. She never asked for any attention.
You're right, Opie.
She's trying to be a freshman in college.
Instead, she's been tested like never before.
I have no idea how this started or why, but I do know that this has affected me in such an awful way and has practically ruined my life.
Yeah, what would you tell to that person?
Just that your actions have consequences, real consequences, that I will be living and facing for the rest of my life. That many other girls face things like this that will affect the rest of their lives.
Tom Yamas, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the
Shut up,
NBC
Lester.
News app.
We started and ended with Lester tonight. That's how it worked. They had to tell Lester off twice. Oh my God, you guys are going to love this. apparently found him injured, malnourished.
Good boy.
Nursing him back to health.
This one has a lot of yucky paste. Yeah. But you did so good.
Oh.
This is just a little one. Good boy. That's good, bud. You did it. You ate all that.
Oh, I want to pet the kitty.
I'm gonna close this and get him some blood water. It's working on hydration. Hi, handsome. You did so good.
He's a handsome boy. Yeah, it's a cub. Let me see if it says how old it is. Five-month-old orphaned cougar cub. They found it emaciated and dehydrated. Now in the expert care at Northwest Trek. Rescued by the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. The cub is receiving round-the-clock veterinary attention. Making steady progress. Dim eyes, how can you not fall in love? Good night, Lenny. Light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. YouTube people, Kick, podcast, all you other people.
Yucky paste.
Good night, Twitch people. We're gonna stick around. We're gonna watch some
This one has a lot.
Police Squad.
Yeah. But you did so good. This is just a little one. Good boy. That's good, bud. You did it.
We might watch this like 2 or 3 more
You
times.
did all that. Good job.
I don't think anybody will object.
I'm gonna close this.
I'm telling you, Ponder Monkey.
Water. It's working on hydration. Hi, handsome. You did so good.
The sound is part of what makes this awesome. Some wildlife refuge ain't gonna copyright claim me. Gotta put mittens on the murder mitts. I'm assuming that's why he's in that cage thing. She's definitely got
Boy.
gear on.
Boy.
Listen to his roar already.
Yucky paste.
I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I would
Good boy.
I would want to cuddle with him.
This one has a lot of yucky paste. Yeah. But you did so good. This is just a little one. Good boy. That's good, bud. You did it.
They might release him back out into the wild.
I'm gonna close
Sometimes when they find him injured, they'll live in like a refuge somewhere.
hydration. Hi, handsome. You did so good.
Yeah, I don't know if it had any kind of major injury. He was just dehydrated and emancipated, so maybe like its mother died or something. Couldn't fend for itself. Look at them teepers! I'm amazed my cats aren't like reacting to the kitty sounds. Oh yeah, Flash. I bet that's how it is. Like they'll bond with like the whoever's taking care of them. Any like as you said, like you had big dogs.
What is that stuff? Okay. Yucky paste. Good boy. This one has a lot of yucky paste. Yeah. But you did so good.
I want a fox.
Little one.
We've watched a couple different fox videos, and they are fucking
Good boy.
gorgeous.
You did it.
And they seem like cats.
Good
They
job.
seem like a cat dog. Cat dog. Cat dog.
I'm gonna close this and get him some blood water.
You said tried. Apparently they didn't succeed in domesticating
Hi,
foxes.
handsome. You did so good.
It might very well be ivermectin, honestly. How fucking cute. Alright. We watched the Naked Gun trailer to start the stream earlier tonight, which put me in the mood to watch some fucking Police Squad. The Naked Gun is kind of a deep cut nowadays, isn't it? The kids don't know what Naked Gun is. And I think a lot of people that grew up with Naked Gun like me didn't know that there was a fucking TV show. But there was.